Well, this is not what I wanted to see this morning. Hello, welcome to Topper Machine. I'm Josh Topper, and as you can see, winter is finally coming. So let's go check out the big snowblower, make sure that's ready to go, and do a little bit of modification that I want to get done on it before we really need it. So if you follow the channel, you probably saw me when I bought this last year. We went through it, got it running good, cleaned a mouse nest out of the motor, did some repairs to the auger, made all the quick attach adapters for the payloader so we could actually use it, and I straightened out a few things on it, but it worked great. It absolutely worked great last winter. It worked so good that I never fired it up once. It blew the snow out of here without even starting it. We had a winter with no snow. It was awesome. It worked great. So I want to make sure I'm ready, and hopefully this thing will scare away Mother Nature again. So let's get it started up, make sure everything's good, and then I'm gonna do some modifications to the skis. I wanna raise it up a little bit, just so that we're not digging into gravel or picking anything up we shouldn't be. Now let's check her all out, make sure we're good. Got good oil. And this is a V4 Wisconsin. So it's air cooled, no coolant other than air. Get the gas on here and gas is flowing, and we're still full from last year, so that's a bonus. Take my stack cover off and let's see if we can get her to start. Well, she's giving me a little bit of difficulty. I got to keep the choke on to keep it running. I'm gonna go ahead and just get into the carburetor, take a quick look, see if I see anything, any ports plugged or anything. I went through this last year also, so it was just dirt in there, and there is dirt in the fuel. It's a dirty fuel tank, and when I bought it, it had been sitting for almost 30 years. So I did the best I could to clean her out and get her going as best I could, but you're always gonna miss something. So I'm gonna tear into that and we'll see what we got. Well, there she is. Let's take her inside and just see if we find anything obvious. All right, so when I got the snowblower, I went through this and cleaned it out. I can't remember if I did a carb kit or not, but like I said, I saw a lot of dirt in that fuel and did what I could to get that cleaned out, but you never know. So we're just gonna go ahead and open this up, take another look, and if we have to order a carb kit, then we'll order a carb kit. But I think it's just gonna be a little chunk of dirt somewhere plugging something. 9 times out of 10, that's all it ever is. Actually looks pretty clean in there. A little grime down in the bottom, but not bad. I think I remember I bead blasted the bowl to get her clean. Let's go ahead with a float. Yeah, we may have to dig into this just a little deeper, but I think blowing it all out with air, getting these jets cleaned up will probably do it. So I got her all apart, I cleaned her up, I went a little further, I pulled all the jets out. So here's one, here's one, here's one, and I think this is where our problem is there's some crud on that guy. And I really don't know how that's possible, but we'll get this all cleaned up. But I'm going to start just by blowing everything out. All right, should be able to just start putting her all back together. All right, I wanted to look this thing over a little closer and just see what we got going on. And yeah, it's pretty crudded up. The ports on the side got a buildup in them. Yeah, especially that one. I don't know that this is our problem, but I brought out the airbrush cleaning tools, the little brushes, and we'll just go ahead and brush this out and then try to put it back together, and hopefully that gets it going again. That knocked out a lot of the gunk. Go to the smaller brush and just see if we can get clean those cross ports. Well, she's all back together. I did order an actual carb kit. It won't be here for a couple of weeks, but at least I have that coming. So worst case, if this doesn't work, I'll just go and throw the new carb kit in it, and that should take care of my problems. But the only problem that I really actually saw was the float bowl gasket and then that crud in the bottom. So I think we're in good shape. So let's go put this back on and see if that fixed it. Well, I got it on there. Before I get carried away and put everything back together, let's just start it and see if that cured it. And if not, then we'll just move on to the next thing and I'll wait for my carb kit. Well, that was a vast improvement. It's running without the choke right now. I think if I put the air line on, then that'll give me a little more resistance through the oil bath air filter and eliminate that popping. So we'll go ahead and shut her down and put her back together the rest of the way. Well, she's been running for a good 20 minutes now, warmed right up. Got a little pop every once in a while, but overall, it's running pretty good. Let's throttle it up and see how she sounds. Well, that looks scary as hell. I think that's why winter never came last year. I hope it's scaring Mother Nature this year. Well, looks like we're about ready. The last thing I want to do is I want to pull these little skis off that are on here, and I want to extend them down about an inch, make them thicker, and then I'll hard face them so they don't wear out so quick. And that should get me up a little more, because otherwise this cutting edge is going to be scraping the driveway and picking up rocks and whatever else. And I'd like a little bit of height so we don't have that problem. You know, I'm happy leaving an inch of material. You can pack that down and make a nice hard pack. And as it is, we won't be plowing anything until we get a good hard pack anyway, just not to wreck the driveway. All right, so I got the skis off, and upon closer examination, that's all from wear. I wound up having to torch the bolts off, and I nicked them a little bit, which is fine. But when I got looking at them even closer, they're shot. They are done for. And doing a little digging here, they've got a slight bend to them. If you can see that. This one's bent more. They're not supposed to be. They're supposed to be straight. So I've got some 3/8 by 2 by 2 by 3/8 angle. We're gonna make up new skis. So we're just gonna come up to our iron worker here and snip this angle right to size. All right, so here's our new pieces of angle, and I decided to make them just a little bit shorter. We'll still have to do the angles on the end for the ski, but also this is a little thicker web than this one was. So I'm gonna compensate on my hole location. So I'm gonna go ahead, lay those out. I'll just scribe them out, lay them out, and then we will punch the holes with the iron worker. All right, so you see me put punch marks in there. There's a dimple on the center of the punch. And we use that to line up these punch marks. And what I found that works extremely well for punching is anchor lube. And I'll just put a dab of that right there. The punch will spread that around. go, first hole. All right, now that our holes are punched, we'll go ahead and get our 45s cut on each end and get that boxed in, and then we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, so these pieces I just cut are 1.5 by 1/2, and we're just going to put them on there, center them, and then weld them in multiple places, and then we'll bend this end over with the torch, use the torch and the hammer, just bend it over, and then weld the ski part of it. And then the final thing will be to hard face this whole thing for a wear strip. This is what is going to set our height and get our cutting edge up off the ground a bit and protect the driveway. That'll be enough weld to hold them on there good, and now we'll move it over to the vise, heat up these ends, beat them over, and then we'll weld those as well. Well, I apologize for the bad vibration in that last scene bending that, but them bent over beautifully. We'll go ahead and weld them up, and then we'll hard face that whole thing. Well, no worries about penetration there. I cranked it up a little bit for spray transfer. I run a C10 gas with a solid wire, and that's burnt in nicely. Those aren't going anywhere. All right, here we are set up at my hard-facing welder. This is a 200 amp Miller 3-phase machine, and it's set up specifically with this hard-facing wire. Now, I'm very adamant about absolutely no flux core, no dual shield. I am a solid wire and gas guy. That's all I'll run, just because of the smoke and the fumes that is created by flux core and dual shield. It is so nasty. I hate the stuff, and I don't want to be near it. I don't want to breathe it, so I don't allow it in the shop, with the exception of the hard-facing wire that I use for a lot of jobs similar to this, where you're building up a wear surface or making new wear parts. Hard-facing is very common on excavator buckets, things like that. Grater blades, you can use hard-facing on that. So it's a very common thing, and it either comes in stick form or in wire. I'm set up for wire because I used to do so much of it. Not so much anymore, with a lot of my customers have gone out of business, but I still have a couple of customers that use it, so I'm going to keep it set up that way. And because it's a dual shield, it is a flux core wire with a CO2 shielding gas, and I will only run this either outside or with both garage doors open here in the weld shop, because it is so nasty, and I use my respirator with it as well, because the gas, the smoke, everything is so bad. All right, so I'm all geared up. Let's get to hard facing. All right, this is going pretty good, but the biggest downside to using this stuff and having the doors open with weather such as we have now, it's about 10 degrees out with about 90% humidity, which makes it extremely cold and miserable. But my lens keeps fogging up, my glasses keep fogging up just from breathing. So I got to weld a while holding my breath, and then stop, take a breath, clear out everything. But this is coming out nice, so I'm going to go ahead, finish this all up, and then I'll show you the final product. Well, those ought to wear nicely. That's a good hard surface. I think it's like a Rockwell 60, 65, somewhere in there, Rockwell C, when it's all done. So maybe even 70, I can't remember. It's high, but it's some incredible stuff. It works great for a lot of applications and the stuff I work with. So I'm gonna let these cool, and I'm gonna go get bundled up and put these on. I'm not gonna film that just because I'm gonna be crawling around and it's gonna be hard to see anyway, but when we do the follow-up video, I'll show them all installed, and we'll answer any questions in the follow-up video that you guys may have. And if you know of anybody who needs this kind of machine shop work, repair work, any of that kind of stuff, let me know. And if it hasn't already, the press brake is for sale. So if anybody's interested in my 6-foot Chicago 335 press brake, that is for sale with all the tooling. So until next time, get out in your shop and get it done right the first time.